Osiris.
Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
You have found Daniel Donato's Lost Highway.
that lost highway.
Howdy, friends. Welcome back to the Lost Highway podcast, the podcast of all things cosmic country. I am coming to you here today, less than 48 hours after what was a cosmic odyssey of 17 shows in 17 days on the 2022 spring tour. We're doing over 140 shows this year. We're knocking it out show by show. We went all around the Northeast, really. We had a peak experience of 5 shows in 3 days that started with 2 shows in New York, one at Relics, one at Rockwood Music Hall, stage 3, where my jacket caught on fire in the middle of a show through some Nag Champa incense on a new song called Southbound, which we just have a new 4K HDR video up of on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Then we had 2 shows in Asbury Park, one at the Transparent Gallery, which is Transparent Clinch Gallery, which is Danny Clinch's gallery. I have a podcast with him coming up soon. And then we had a legendary show at the Asbury Saint. This was an oversold out show, turning people away at the door, and it was an evening of absolute immaculate frequencies. Someone came up to me after the show was over and showed me on their Amazon Halo, which is just like Amazon's version of the Fitbit, that they burned close to 200 calories dancing at our show. Just immaculate. And then we had a show in Stanhope, New Jersey, which was really long and strange in that Grateful Dead way. Stanhope is an insanely historical town. One of the first towns in America, and the Stanhope house itself was Lord Stanhope's house. He got a grant from the King of England at the time. I guess he was buddies with him to build the house when he came and bought the whole town. Right after this beautiful country was founded, about 14 years after. And that building still stands today, and legends like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Derek Trucks, Jerry Garcia, Muddy Waters, B.B. King have played there, and numerous others. I think Cosmic Country has now raised the frequency level at that establishment. And there's too much to unpack there, and we're going to have a Cosmic Companion episode with everyone in the crew and band coming up here into the studio soon before we head on the next tour to recap on it all so we can share the experience with you. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to share with you a quote from Seneca that I love, which is, "Life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future." Life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. Time is a very interesting thing because it is relative not only to everybody, but to also to who you are at that specific place in space and time. When you are hungry, the day moves differently. When you are tired, the day moves differently. When you are excited about something, the day moves differently. When you're playing music, the day moves differently, or the night. This is a very strange concept. And so what I would like to give to you as a thought with this, my fellow listener and friend, is that this too shall pass, and that time in itself is rather relative and full of all kinds of plasticity. So if you really are trying to get rational with time and you aim to feel better with your relationship with time, let it go and be present. By letting go, because otherwise you're letting go or being dragged, as Terence McKenna says, you are humbly placed with all the power of the cosmos in your mind, spirit, and soul when you are in the present. And that is when you let go. That's easier said than done. And I don't believe it is a Western big boom event of, all of a sudden on May 2nd, 2022, or whatever day you listen to this podcast, that you let go and then you're forever letting go. I think it is a practice, and it's a reminder to let go, to surrender to the flow, and to be in the present moment. Everything you've ever had and or experienced has been in the present. Even when you are thinking of a future event or a past event, it is only meaningful because it is affecting the present moment. All you ever had and ever will have is the present. And why do we call presents present? Like, why do we do that? There is no bigger present than the present moment. It is full of all the positive and all the negative you could ever need. And trust me, you do need that negative. You do need to remind yourself that you might sometimes have a chip on your shoulder and that it is worth standing up with your shoulders straight and taking it in this world. Or sometimes you might need that positive energy to just breathe in. Notice I did 2 inhales, 1 exhale. That's the old Andrew Huberman approach. I already feel more calm doing that. That's a positive thing that you can do to bring yourself back into the present. I would suggest that if you find yourself anywhere, try to find yourself in the present moment and live in that present moment. Patience, persistence, positivity. Maybe not all 3 of them, maybe just 1, maybe just 2. Life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. Seneca. I love that. We've recorded a new Cosmic Country single. We're going to be recording a record as the year goes on. We're going to be touring as the year goes on. We have Bonnaroo, we have Peach Fest. We have a whole tour lined up with the Kitchen Dwellers, October and November, who are going to be the guest on this upcoming podcast, and I cannot wait to share with you guys this conversation with them. Here in 2022, we find ourselves in an amazing renaissance of American music being appreciated at a very popular scale. I think Billy Strings is a phenomenal force that is involved in this movement. Green Sky Bluegrass, String Cheese Incident, and it all harkens back to the great man who opened up this universe for us all, which was Jerry Garcia and his companions in the Grateful Dead and many other projects. And someone I've been able to encounter on this tree of life as the Cosmic Country journey unveils is the Kitchen Dwellers. This band is by far one of the best live bands I've ever had the experience to not only play with, but to just watch on a nightly basis in the 15 years that I've been playing music and going to see music almost on a nightly basis. They are just profound. They're prolific, they're consistent, and they are constantly inspired. Whether they are inspired through the muse or just through their discipline to attain the vision of what is their highest potential for themselves, they show up and they get it done, and it's beautifully magical every time I see them play. We were on tour with them for, I think, 2 weeks back in January, and we had wrapped up a tour in Austin. And in our very crowded Airbnb with the entire Cosmic Country crew, Swain and Torrin came over. We cooked breakfast. We had some venison, and we talked about life. We talked about touring. We talked about their new record, Wise River, which is now out. And there was a bunch of shirtless men in the background cooking bacon for some very random reason throughout the intro of this podcast. So if you hear any of that ambient noise, that is everyone in the band and the crew cooking bacon without their shirts on. And I don't know why that was happening. I present to you the one and only Kitchen Dwellers with Swain and Torrin Daniels.
Fish loves dicks, or we love dicks, or whatever.
Oh, and that's for the clit thing.
And then so the girls, they all have these shirts that say "Clit Sporting Goods" on it, which is hilarious.
That's right.
And they used to wear them to our shows all the time, and that's how we figured out who they were. Like, what's up with those girls that keep all wearing the Clit Sporting Goods shirts that keep coming to our shows? And then someone showed us that they had Instagram. And I was like, oh, of course, you guys are hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
They're aware of how.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, they're great. And they're also from at least a couple of them I think live in Telluride, which Swain's from Telluride. So
I've never been to Telluride.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
So
Have
cool.
you played Telluride?
We played like some late night stuff there before for the Bluegrass Festival. We played there just on tour before at the Sheridan Opera House, which is like an old opera house that's been there since like the 1800s when Telluride was first established, I think, when it was like a mining town. But for the Bluegrass Festival, we've only done like unofficial late nights where we've just showed up and played in town. But then they have like there's like actual late nights for the festival that's called Nightgrass, which we haven't actually done. But this year is our first year actually playing at the festival. We played the band competition before, and like if you win that band competition, they give you a slot at the festival the next year. And the closest we got was second one year.
You got second place?
Yeah, and we got second to our friends, Trout Stick Revival, which is like great.
I don't know those guys.
They live in Colorado.
Yeah.
They're Colorado Bluegrass band.
They're super good. Awesome songwriting.
Yeah, but they it's funny because there's like in the bluegrass scene there's like these bands that go, that's all they do is they do those band competitions.
Yeah, it's the only genre that has this culture, I feel like.
Yeah, so they're like, there's some certain bands that will just travel the country all summer long and go to these festivals and try to win these band competitions at Bluegrass Fest instead of just trying to play a festival or whatever. And so there was all these bands there that were like just there to basically to compete, not necessarily to like enjoy the festival or go.
It's stressful.
Weird. It's like
super,
because it's like you never think of music as a competition, do you? Like that doesn't ever occur to you,
We
right?
were joking about it yesterday where it was like, you don't necessarily, we were talking about Tom Brady, how he's like,
oh yeah,
retiring. It's
yeah.
He'll be back. He's going to Brett Favre it. 2 years, he's going to be back playing for the Patriots.
You heard it?
You called it, yeah.
I mean, seriously, come on. Who are we?
And it's like, what a champion. And it's like, it's a very linear way to define championship within athletics.
Yeah.
But within music, it's like, it's very non-linear. It's like, you could never be successful in like the domain of popular music and then just be entirely realized and successful.
Yeah.
And just like go and tour. And it's like, football's not like that. Either you win or you fucking lose.
Yeah.
It's like, music's not like that. And we were talking,
no
let's
one's
go win this show at the Far Out Loud.
Yeah, right, yeah.
It doesn't even process in this.
It doesn't even like come across as that. But like,
Tone, would you have my water?
like Vince Herman said, has told us before. He's like, music hasn't ever been a competition unless you're a bluegrass band. Because he's obviously not about that at all. You know, he's definitely all about the inclusiveness of music.
It's definitely one way to get a break, but
there's like a weird energy with those competition kind of things. But so when we were in Telluride that year, we played. There was like all these other bands that we didn't know that were there, obviously to compete, and they're and pretty like straight up bluegrass, and like we're obviously weird, and then for us and then Trout State to be like the last two people standing on the stage when they were like announcing the winners, like getting second place to our friends was a fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. But yeah, it's a weird energy in the bluegrass.
I mean,
I like that,
we did that for a few different festivals. I mean, I think we did a contest at Northwest String Summit.
We did one at String Summit.
We did one for Delphi,
which we also didn't win.
Well, let's just get this out. We did not win any of the contests.
Let's just start that. Yeah, I don't know why we did it for a while. What's that?
Like, how long did you get to play?
You get up and you play like 3 songs.
So there's like rules.
Three's an amazing pattern to be aware of in the universe.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah, it's like everywhere.
Everywhere. Chords are made of 3.
Yeah.
You play 3 songs. Here's 3 tips.
And that's like what Jack White's thing is all about. Is his like Third Man Records and him trying to with the upholstery. Yeah, that's
Have you heard about what he does on stage with the white stripes back in the day? Where he positioned everything within his domain of instruments to be 3 steps away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like 3 guitar picks on stage, 3 pedals.
Right.
3
I mean,
vocal mics.
The series of 3s goes back thousands and thousands of years with humankind too. I mean, basically all of the, I don't judge anybody for anything that they believe, but all the trinities they use in the Catholic Church are taken from pagan symbols and ideals thousands and thousands of years ago, and they just pushed it forward. So there's always been a power to it for people. In 3s, yeah.
So you played 3 songs. Did you do originals?
That's the thing. You I think they want you to.
It's always a fast, traditional instrumental, like a fiddle.
Yeah, they want you to play a fiddle.
And then they want you to play a fast bluegrass song with lyrics.
Yeah.
And then they want you to play a waltz.
Yeah,
that's generally the rules across the board. Yeah.
Slow, fast, instrumental is like the 3s. And,
Yeah.
and I think if you play depending on the competition, if you play originals, it's bonus points,
Or they can
or it
knock
can
you.
count against you.
I can't really remember. I'll tell you right away.
Or if you're like, if your original's too weird, or if
Too original.
yes.
I mean, no, that's not what they would say.
Oh, yeah, but no, but that's
But that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, totally.
It's even like that though. It's just like in the world. It's like It's like how do you like communicating originality. It's like that's no easy feat. It's like,
But then, and it's kind of interesting that there's a lot to that element of that competition that tries to squash that. Yet this tradition is still a respected and enjoyed tradition in bluegrass, and I don't think it's going anywhere as far as band contests go.
Yeah.
It's kind of
would you ever
weird.
do your own? That'd be really crazy.
Host our own band competition.
I don't know.
You get, like,
I don't know if our egos can take the hit.
you make the rules totally within your own ethos.
Yeah, right.
It has to be weird.
Yes,
It has to be
has
really
to be
well
weird.
organized and executed.
You must use alliteration in one of your original songs.
Alliteration is like the one hammer and nail that I just love.
I use it a lot.
Do you use it
try
a lot
to
when
a
you
lot?
songwrite when you're
Yeah.
in your songwriting? I don't know if I've ever noticed it in any of your songs, like specifically, but maybe I just wasn't looking for it. But but if it's like how do you go about it then? Do you
Like I think it's an editing thing for me. So it's like I'll write something and when it comes out, it's like a little bit like a messy kitchen table, and then like the next day, I'll look at it and just that time duration changed, like the way I observe the piece.
Totally.
And that's where like those fine little ideas make more sense. Like.
And do you usually shoot for it? Like, is it just like wherever it strikes you in the song, or do you like usually like in your verses or something like that is where you might
I love
use
it.
alliteration?
Yeah, verses are the thing.
Right.
You're like very like your songs are like very like literary heavy like songs, and it's like saying so it's like I think like having that kind of meter in the way that you go about it.
Totally.
Only if it's natural though.
Totally. Yeah. I think. Do you always take a day like after you work on some shit, and then you like you just said, you take a day and then like revisit it the next day?
Yeah.
I found that's like since like COVID and we started like literally like sitting down and writing a lot of shit together, you know.
Oh, in that studio.
That studio
was a wild place.
Yeah.
It's and just where it was.
Yeah.
It was like a cave.
I'm glad that you got to come to that after New Year's. I'm glad that you came and hung out at the studio. Cause like that's what when we were talking about you interviewing Brent Cobb for your podcast, and that our buddy Griff that plays with the Dusty Pockets is homies with Brent Cobb, and that Brent Cobb had come and recorded a little bit in that studio,
The
like
World Is
after like
Ending.
late night. Yeah, it was like the first version of The World Is Ending.
Wow.
Got just kind of like hashed out in that studio like late night after one of his shows.
Wow.
Yeah, which is kind of wild.
That kind of blindness of the following of like that pulse of like let's do it right now.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like you can hear it in a very subconscious, almost like non-audible way. There's just a certain thing to the delivery.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
He played. I think that was the version.
Yeah.
I think that was the one, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Griff said he was like he'd introduced it to the band in that studio. Like they had never heard it. He hadn't like taken the song to the band yet, and he was like let's do like a rough recording of this, and they were like, oh, kind of like we've never heard the song before or anything like that, and I think they kind of hashed out like the first version of it there in that studio.
Brent just put out an album. He put out that Southern Gospel album.
Oh, nice.
They're singing on it. It's like very well produced. Sounds amazing.
Nice.
All
I'll have to check it out. I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All
check
covers,
it out.
I think.
Really?
I think
all
so.
like remakes of Southern Gospel.
I think so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because that's what your new one is, all remakes of
old
country, and there's some bluegrass on there too.
Yeah.
I noticed because you guys did Darling Corey the other night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Why You Been Gone So Long? That's like I really like your guys' version of Why You Been Gone So Long.
Thanks.
That's like, because it's been done so many times in the bluegrass community, like
double time,
or like a bouncy, like why have you been gone so long, and they're like, that's how everybody does it all the time. And you've heard, and I feel like if you're a bluegrass version, you've either picked that in some sort of circle in that exact pentameter and style like a billion times, and then just having that be like your first single to come out with that fucking drum fill like right out the bat is like great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that was really intentional.
Yeah,
there's a very thin line between bluegrass and country if you go back far enough.
Yes.
Well, that's
when it meets honky tonks, and the live necessity to like have, you don't get paid any money, but you need to be a great band, and you need to have constant music. It's like the honky tonk thing created that blending, and like that's where like the Western swing and all that starts to come alive in this beautiful way. And
I mean that's what a Telluride Bluegrass. It's actually definitely called the Telluride Bluegrass and Country Music Festival.
Oh yeah,
Country
for
and
sure.
Western Music Festival. Yeah, on the signs on the inside, that's what it'll tell you, and that's what it used to be when it first started. It had a more of a
who's on that one
Western for sure.
On that one poster your dad has, BR549 is on that poster. You remember those guys?
Yes, I do.
My dad used to listen to them all the time.
Oh, so your dad listened to that?
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
My dad listened. He turned me on to American Beauty, Led Zeppelin box set,
nice,
Guns N' Roses, and then from there, like his whole grunge taste was lost on me.
Oh yeah, he's into the grunge.
Yeah,
I love that.
Torrin's a big grunge guy.
Sure. Yeah, and like anything towards like the heavy or like aggressive way is a lot. Like generally, just like the way that I lean in my music taste for whatever reason. But I'll like growing up definitely listened to like a lot of punk and played drums to punk rock and like all my friends were in metal bands, and Swain was in a metal band when he was growing up.
Yeah, in high school I was in a metal
What did
band
you
for a
play?
bit. Played the bass, which is essentially just the mandolin flipped in verse, you know. So a lot of those things.
What was the band
crossover.
called? Disturb the Peace?
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
I mean, I grew up in a really small town. I graduated with like 36 other people, or kids, I guess you'd say.
36.
Yeah, so, and then two of the kids who were in this band with me were in some like pretty devout Christian families, and like their moms got like real upset one time. And we had this like local show, you know, I remember how we did it. Somehow I don't know, when you're kids in high school, you somehow just like get a gig at a local theater every once in a while. Some part of something. I don't really remember how.
That is real.
Yeah, exactly, right? You know, it just happens, and you're like, all the kids from high school go to your show, and it's a big deal. But they like tried to cancel our show because we had a devil on the poster or something. And oh no, you know what it was? It was the kid who was the singer in the band got interviewed, and he said some really hilariously ridiculous stuff in the interview in the little local newspaper.
Really?
About like,
because you were like
trying to scare
grade
parents.
or something.
It was like
eighth
ninth grade.
Okay,
yeah. Trying to scare parents and stuff. And gosh, I would have to look. My dad showed me the article pretty recently.
That's
it's so
amazing.
funny.
Your dad has the article?
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta find it when
It's
we go.
so funny. He was just laughing. He was laughing at it, and
I love finding that shit. I actually
he
have.
got to play the show, I think.
I have this CD that your mom.
Oh, it's
burned me. I have a CD.
Our friend, my friend Carly, who's actually from Austin here. She gave it to you.
Yeah, that's
My
yeah.
friend from high school gave it to him.
Carly gave it to me. Yeah.
She was working for
If they're
that was bullshit how she did that.
Yeah, I remember that.
She had this, and she knew I didn't know she had this disc, and so she was working for like a kind of some sort of media spot in the town we were in, and we did a little filming thing with her, and then she gave Torrin this CD from my high school band as we were leaving, and I didn't even know.
She was like, "Do you want this one? You want this?" And I was like, "Yes, I want this."
Did you guys have photos?
Oh man, yeah, I can probably find some.
Yeah.
I bet there's still a MySpace.
There's like
I remember like all the band photos in high school would just be like, go into the woods.
I gotta see it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Photos.
we still kind of do that.
We still actually our newest some of our newest promo shots is definitely some of that shit for sure. There's one where we kind of look like a Finnish metal band or something like that. Just all standing out in the wilderness.
Oh man. Well, that's
There's
not the
some
right
good ones.
band. There's other bands called that now.
Disturb the peace.
There has to be.
I don't even know.
Several.
Is MySpace still a thing? It doesn't really look like it's in the same. Oh
I don't
yeah,
think
there
you
it
can
is.
go to MySpace, can you?
No, it's like something else kind of. It seems
I don't know,
like.
but can we
We'll
just
find that. We'll work on
appreciate-
that.
Can we just appreciate that how much more of a G Tom was than fucking Mark Zuckerberg?
I mean, what confidence in that profile picture?
he literally
They used to know it.
he's like, I built this shit. You're my friend. Everyone in the world is my friend. And then I'm fucking cashing out, dude. Deuces. See y'all.
Yeah, dude.
Whereas Mark Zuckerberg is like in his fucking reptilian skin suit.
Smoking
And
meats.
he's like trying to build a fascist empire with
Yeah, what is meta?
The
with
metaverse.
the metaverse, dude. The metaverse is like
We're gonna do
2
a
steps from
bluegrass
being
competition in the metaverse.
only in the
correct
metaverse.
me if I'm wrong. Is the metaverse you can just kind of like tap out of this world and go into the digital world and like hang out with people and you can be whatever you want in
You know,
there?
like Ray Kurzweil,
No, I'm not familiar.
like Singularity.
Okay, yeah.
And so it's like, if you look at how much better the experience of virtual things are in the past 20 years,
Yeah.
well,
right.
that compounds and compresses also at the same time into more growth in smaller periods of time.
Totally.
And so it's exponential growth. So if it were like a
Yeah. Right.
X, Y,
There's a
it just-
curve swooping up.
it grows into itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Perpetually.
Oh yeah.
And so imagine 100 years. from
Yeah.
now. Like you could,
I mean, look what everything else we've done
yeah.
in less than 100
No,
years
I
from
think-
creating the first aircraft. We were in space.
From the time difference between the first ever aircraft that flew 60 feet off the
To the
ground
space
for,
shuttle.
to the dick-shaped space shuttle that Jeff Bezos took to the moon on vacation.
100 years. 100 years.
Did it have to look that much like a dick? That's what I'm wondering.
I feel like it was excessive, but very fitting.
He is very Dr. Evil. Like,
Yeah, he's
I mean,
very
He
yeah.
embraces. I think he knows.
I hope he.
how could he not?
I
yeah.
like him more than Mark Zuckerberg.
I do too.
He seems more of a human than Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
he seems,
Elon
Yeah,
Musk?
he seems more. What about Elon Musk? What's your?
I think he's human.
Musk?
You think
I
he's human?
I think he's a sign
I think he's-
of the evolutionary.
I think he's human because he's so sad and self-loathing.
He can't stop.
'Cause
He can't turn his brain off.
He's like, if you see the Jeff Rogan interview, or have you seen that when Jeff Rogan or Joe Rogan,
Yes, that's the most legendary thing I've ever heard. Jeff Rogan.
Jeff Rogan, it's Jeff Bezos and Joe Rogan, which just means that the owner of Amazon can kick your ass, I guess.
God, can you imagine if Bezos was built like Joe Rogan?
Built like Joe Rogan, dude. He would take over the world, dude. He would take over the world. Give Jeff Bezos
No
his
neck
buff,
on
dude.
Bezos.
Just like,
Doing that the neck strengthening thing you see ads for.
yeah, dude.
You see- yeah.
But the Joe Rogan interview with Elon Musk, he's like, the whole thing, you're like, this is he's like the smartest guy in the world. He's like created this empire, and he just sounds like the saddest motherfucker the whole time.
I don't think he gets a lot of sleep.
I can't imagine he does. I imagine he worries about the state of the world
It was
constantly.
like, I remember that he asked him if he could turn off his
which
brain.
would lead me to believe that he is human, even though his daughter with Grimes is whatever the
Grimes just got her nipples removed.
nipples removed.
Yeah, she's trying to commit to this. This is something I read on Instagram. Does it? I don't know.
All right, so this is
What was
That's
it?
the
You
news.
showed it to me, Joe, right?
I don't think so.
I think it was either Toe or it was Space Dog, and it was her. Like she's like trying to commit to like an alien.
androgyny kind of.
I think it's alien.
Really?
That's what the verbiage was. Alien.
Have you
It's
seen?
just like complex news or something.
Are you familiar with the Black Alien Project on
Let's go.
Instagram?
No.
So it's
What?
this guy. I just found this on Instagram. I really don't have an excuse. I was just scrolling and
Sometimes it takes you a weird
saw some
place.
weird shit and just dove into it
Do you
fully.
scroll? Is it? And you're in the van. Are you scrolling?
Yes, sometimes. A lot of the time I'm sleeping
Yeah.
I've been trying to get better about reading instead of scrolling.
Reading puts me right to sleep.
But I do all the
Nothing.
social media for the band. So like at a certain point, I am definitely scrolling. But I'm trying
That's you that
not
wants
to.
that. You kill it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Likewise. But I feel like it's such a pivotal part of like what we do have to do as a band.
Yeah.
Like any band, has to do that all the time.
It's a community.
And I feel like once I accomplish my thing for the day, I try to just like check out of it because it's
right.
This whole like past couple of years of pandemic has been like everyone is on social media all the time because there's nothing else to do.
It's exhausting.
And now it's just a fucking nightmare.
It's so electric.
It is. And like, I feel like people spend too much time in their phones
so angry.
now, for sure. And they get so stuck in their bubble.
Yeah.
Well, you can say whatever you want to somebody on the internet, and they're not going to physically walk over you and confront you back about it. So,
Face, yeah.
But man, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I ended up just deleting the app for Facebook off my phone.
Yeah.
And what a difference did that make? But I had the luxury to be able to do that. I wasn't in Torrin's position where the element of convenience and having that app when you're doing that for your job is important. But man, it makes such a difference just in the amount I used it.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's what Joe does. Yeah, Joe's deleted his apps, his social media apps off of his phone, and he just accesses it via his computer when he's at home. Like
Joe Funk, he couldn't have done anything else with his life.
No, that was actually our kind of our like slogan for a while, or like the running joke on stage forever. When like our first like few years as a band was like.
When did you start? When did you start like touring?
Touring would have been like
16 or 15.
Yeah,
like
6 or 7 years ago. We've been a band for like 11, but a lot of that was just being in college and sort of just playing house parties and bars and stuff like that, and we didn't really start touring in any sort of capacity until 6 or 7 years ago. So a lot of it it just happened to be that we were all living in the same town and managed to keep it all together through college and decided we wanted to keep it going. So but
organic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Wow, there's not a lot of bands that do that. Like
I feel like that's the thing. Like that's like, and the thing that everyone says is like college bands don't make it. Everyone's like college bands don't make it out of college. No one gets all the way through college and ends up being the same person that they were when they got there.
Well, that's the thing I'm noticing about relationship. It's like, especially with yourself, like just like you and yourself, like the amount of consistency and commitment you can have through change, because that's an inevitable thing. Like
totally.
That's what constitutes like a group that you can change together.
I mean, we've
because change is an inevitable like line that you're always following.
We've had quite a fair amount of adapting to change in this band over. It's the four of us right now, and we've had Max for 7 years.
Yeah, basically when Max joined the band, when Max decided to join the band, we became a lot better band very quickly.
Yeah, and
Max brings it.
There's been there was another guy who played guitar before Max, and then there was a couple of fiddle players who made their way in and out of the band, and none of it really worked.
Really like stuck or like gelled.
There was some more difficult times, and we just kind of, I don't even know really what drove us to stick together through some of it.
Did you ever lose people through wanting to take it too seriously? And really commit to being that type
We
of
almost lost Max that way. He kept saying, the first year he was in the band, he kept saying he wasn't going to tour and we needed to find another guy. And we were like, okay.
Because like you tour all the time and your arrangements are just like incredibly complex and tight.
Yeah.
And it's
thank
like,
you.
That's a high standard. And it's like, I'm realizing that too with my guys. There it's like, not everyone is that person.
No, not everyone wants to commit to, thinking that seriously about.
To make the music that real.
Yes, for sure. And I think, actually we did. Our first fiddle player,
right.
Tyler Schultz, who's a great dude, a great musician.
He actually grew up with Max.
Regardless, he actually grew up with Max in Crystal Lake. They went to the same high school together, and they played playing music together since they were like
synchronicity.
15 or whatever.
Right.
And And so Tyler ended up being our first fiddle player, which he didn't even play fiddle really.
He's just
he's just really good at all instruments, like keys.
Probably
guitar,
one of the most
drums.
monumental musicians we know personally.
Yeah, in Montana, and he just like crushes it. But so he played fiddle with us and like kind of toured a little bit out of the state for a little bit, and then eventually he was just like, you know, I just don't enjoy traveling or touring that much seriously as a job, and I think I want to stay around Montana and kind of like develop this as like my home. And that was like, he was like very upfront about it and was just like, I'm just not really comfortable with touring that much. And we're like, yeah, man, that's totally fine. That's totally reasonable. And he was like, I just don't think I'm that guy. So we have lots.
That's right. Yeah.
It wasn't because he didn't take the music seriously, because he definitely did. And he was very good at it. But it was just because of the
He's
seriousness
taking the music more seriously than us at the time.
Yeah, the seriousness of the touring schedule and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
And things were really loose back then.
True. Yeah, things were really loose back then.
We were kind of just calling places, booking gigs,
showing up,
calling them the day of the gig. We're like, when should we get down there?
Yeah, that's how you gotta do it.
Yeah.
That's the start of any hero's journey too. It's always like, it's usually it exists like on both poles of polarity, or sides of it rather, where it's like an incredibly virtuosic arrival to the scene.
Yes.
Like in a Hercules, like Harry Potter way.
Totally.
Where you have the scar and you're the thing, or where it's like sipping that way for me, and it sounds like you guys just at the fucking ground level.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
yes.
Yeah, man.
I mean, not to say
there's something so character building about that.
Yeah,
it is.
Music, you can hear it in the tones.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we didn't really know how to play our instruments super well when we got together.
Yeah, we did. So we did have
we
that.
learned together, and I think that helped develop a very unique style.
Because like you kind of like grew up, you know, like you started playing at Roberts when you were like 16.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, I feel like that's kind of the standard for a lot of musicians in our genre, like both of our genres, specifically like country and bluegrass. Like a lot of people just like kind of grew up playing the music, and even 16 is like a kind of a late time to start. Like a lot of bluegrass musicians we know have been playing the fucking banjo or the fiddle since they were like 8.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And they were in like family bands growing up, and like they went on tour as a family band when they were like in middle school, and like, and then we came along, and like I joined the band because like I just happened to own a banjo.
Yeah,
he was like,
Wait, Kitchen Dwellers were already a band?
no. He
was
was like,
Torrin and I sat down next to each other on like the first day of college on his freshman year and my sophomore year.
Whoa.
The first class was like
What college?
MSU
State.
in Montana, in Bozeman where we live.
Did you graduate?
I did. Yes.
No.
What class was it?
It was
Land Resources 101.
Resources 101.
Yeah.
And I sat down, and there was this other kid that we knew. Well, we ended up being friends with, but I sat down, and he was a lot older, and I like looked at him, and I'd like just moved to Bozeman, and I was like, everyone just moves to Bozeman to ski for college, basically. You know, like it's just like world class skiing, and everyone just wants to ski all the time. And so I sat down, and I was like a freshman, and I was like sat down with this kid, and he's like, "Hey man," I was like, "Hey man, do you ski?" And he just goes, "Yeah." And so I immediately got the impression that he was already tired of me, and so I turned the other way, and Swain was sitting on the other side of me, and I was like, "What's up, dude?" And
Wow.
and we started talking about bluegrass and Yonder, and
You turned me on to Jeff Austin.
yes, yeah, which is like a big pivotal part of a lot of bluegrass bands in our age group, anyways. Like getting started, I feel like Yonder was many people's introduction to
very
bluegrass
important.
and JamGrass world.
They did something for the genre that, I mean, a lot of bands have very important parts of what they've done for this genre and its progression, but Yonder seemed to, man, they really did something unique, being the string band, the 4-piece string band without the drums and without any electric guitars or anything. They like really brought the bluegrass thing to a pretty rocking level that I don't think anybody else had seen in the 2000s, you know?
Yeah, that's like what all the bands like Green Sky and the Dusters and everybody like that nowadays. It's like they're huge, but that that's the first thing that a lot of those musicians will tell you when you talk to them, and is they're like, well, Yonder showed us how to do it. And they're like, Yonder was the first, Yonder Mountain Streetman was the first band that showed people, hey, bluegrass musicians can tour in a tour bus, and they can play theaters, big ass theaters and arenas, and they can play the fucking Democratic National Convention if they want to. And that had never happened in as far as like bluegrass music as a whole. I feel like Yonder brought this new level of popularity to the music in the like late 90s, early 2000s.
That's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Yeah, it's palpable. I mean,
Culture.
Yeah.
It's like the culture and community is the LCD of that. It's like, that's why, right? It's like, obviously the music's that too, but like those are the two fuels, I think, like, and it's like, I like seeing the patterns of things. Like,
Yeah.
And it's like, this existence is composed of so many patterns. Like, you're talking about 3. It's like, what they did, like the music had to be there, but then like the community and the culture is the thing that makes that like
Totally.
that scale. And it's like, if the music is like, I think it's like a plant, like if it's in the right soil and it's seeded and has the right systems beneath it and the mycelium.
Yes.
And it's like all of the roots are there. It's like, then that's where something like that happens. And
I mean, there's been so many legends that
it never stops.
helped grow that too, you know, and it seemed like every 10 years or so through the bluegrass and jam world, somebody kind of phenomenal would show up. And then, you know, I feel like it started with, you know, Sam Bush and those guys.
Who
in the 70s taking things.
Yeah.
It was just like the stage.
Especially Trey nowadays.
Now the Trey's
Trey's like a little
older,
gray.
Yeah.
He's starting to look more like
They
Sam
both
Bush.
love headbanging.
Yeah, they
That's what it was
Yeah.
like. Even the body language and like the frailness.
Yeah.
Just a t-shirt.
Yeah, the skinny guy thing.
I mean, but like, you know, it started with Newgrass Revival. They were like, we're going to make a rock and roll bluegrass music video that if you muted it and turned on
Aerosmith,
it would probably look like it's saying it's great. Is that for Can't Stop Now?
Can't Stop Now. Yeah, they're in like a factory that just makes sparks or something.
And they're doing it consciously. They're kind of fucking with it.
Oh yeah,
rock and
for
roll.
Sure. Yeah,
They're
they're fucking rocking out.
in the 80s and then, you know, in late 70s, and then the Leftover Salmon came around at the end of the 80s.
Non-ironically.
Yes.
And Leftover Salmon they kind of created their version they called polyethnic Cajun slamgrass. And, you know, between Vince Herman and Drummond and Mark Van, they also created a whole new sound.
And I think they like
bringing the drums in, adding some electric guitar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And just the element of just beautiful chaos that those guys.
Right. That's what Carl
It permeates through. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Leftover Salmon, they kind of are able to harness that and release it upon an audience. And it's pretty phenomenal. They've been doing it since 1989, and it's pretty awesome
for a long time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're Leftover Salmon. Yeah, I mean, gosh, you can't talk about anybody being important without talking about them.
Yes,
in this world too.
1989.
Yeah,
they've been at it.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. That's many iterations of the band, and many changes for sure. But they I feel like they showed. I feel like they had this sort of revival where they showed a lot of people that you could add, you know, drums and keys and electric guitar and just play, and you didn't have to play straight bluegrass or whatever. You could just play whatever fucking rocked. Yeah. And then I feel like Yonder sort of built upon that whole ethos as like I feel like they always one member of the band was always quoted saying that they were the bastard sons of bluegrass, because like Yonder just came out
it's
of
like
the same
outlaw
way.
country.
And they're like not traditional, and they didn't get professionally trained, and they didn't
they
grow
didn't
up
compete.
playing that.
Right.
They didn't grow up playing those instruments, and I feel like that is why our world exists how it does today. Like the bands that we are, our band and bands that we're friends with, and
they really broke
Strings and,
a barrier.
And it's I feel like that's why all those things are about nowadays, for sure.
It's like right when rock music went that way too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I see. It's like even then, it's like that's like what the culture was at the time. That's how people were.
Yeah. Yes.
it's like the 90s, like that's when things started compressing and getting less complex and less vain and just more real, more human. Like
grunge.
Grunge, that's the word.
Like the antithesis of 80s hair metal was grunge.
Big money.
Yeah.
You know, you're not those people because you're not that beautiful.
Yes.
You don't sing that well and play that fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then along came all these fucking flannel wearing nerds that just didn't. Exactly.
You guys got some flannels on there.
Yeah. Yes, and that just wanted to play fucking sad chords in the rain, and now and they
I mean, it can't help it. Seattle's rainy.
yeah, Seattle's rainy as fuck. Guys.
Hell's a miserable place.
The climate.
I have a friend of mine that's in business in New York.
You don't like Seattle?
And he's like, he was like, he's like, he like runs like all these businesses, and it's like he was like, no, you want employees in Seattle. Musicians can't live there. I'm like, why? He's like, well, there's no sun outside, so you can make people work longer hours.
Yes. Yeah, you can start yourself a tech company pretty easily up there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the thing I really envy about Montana. I really do, because it's really just you and the universe out there, potentially.
Yes.
You can make it that way.
You can definitely make it that way.
Circling
It is
back
achievable.
to your
1 mile or 1 person per square mile is the population density
That's
of the
huge.
state. Now that is
That's
a skewed way to look at it. Most of the people live between 3 cities.
Sure.
You can call them cities if you want.
Bozeman's for sure a city.
It's getting there, man.
Dave Sushi.
Yes.
It's Dave's
Fucking
Sushi.
needed it.
Dave's Sushi.
That guy has a complete monopoly.
Yes. He's got a
When I went
corner
there-
on the market.
When I went in there, I couldn't help but think of the Curb Your Enthusiasm, like spite store.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Fuck you and I'll see you tomorrow.
He was just
Exactly
letting
how it
everyone
is.
know. Like he had 35 fucking years of the best.
Oh
sushi
yeah,
in
yeah.
Bozeman.
That's all around the fucking
It's just
whole
filled his head with
restaurant.
fans and his
Yes.
family. It's like he's a winner.
Oh yeah, he is a
Tom
fucking
Brady
winner.
Sushi.
Yeah. I mean, he's got some deal with Alaskan Airlines. They fly and fish every single day.
Yes.
Oh, do they fly fish every day?
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. We've played shows in San Diego before, and had people come up to us and be like, "You guys are from Bozeman?" And we're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Do you know Dave?" And we're like, "Dave who?" And they're like, "Dave Sushi." And we're like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, "I didn't know Dave was an actual guy for the longest time." And they're like, "No." They're like, "No, Dave used to live here." And like, and they're like, and he was like,
I see.
and he
I see.
already apparently crushed it in the cuisine game, and then decided he was gonna go ahead and bring bomb sushi to Montana. So.
Yeah, I mean, you don't think about... I mean, I'm not a sushi guy myself, but I respect it.
Just the fact that they're out there doing it is
Exactly. It's like Hansel and
It's like
Sting.
sex positive.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yes.
As long as it's consensual, I'm okay with
As
people
long as
eating
it's
sushi.
consensual sushi.
As long as you're not forced into eating it, eat it, dude. But you don't think of Montana as a place to get sushi. They do pretty good.
That was the best sushi I had.
I hope we get some, or not me, I hope somebody gets some free sushi. This is a nice plug for Dave's right
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to
Let's go.
Dave's fucking sushi in Bozeman, Montana.
Not like he needs it.
No,
Yeah, I don't
you
think
can't
he
even.
need, I don't think he needs it. He is.
What was your
popular
experience
guy.
when you
I think
called?
you might call us.
Oh yeah, what did they?
That was the funniest.
That was crazy.
They just know
I
they
couldn't
don't.
believe. I almost think they were probably on edible. I was thinking about they were New Year's. They're probably eating edibles and just fucked up a little.
I mean, it's Bozeman. Everyone's high.
The staff at Dave's Sushi, at least when like we were in college,
They're
and
all
we knew
heads.
everyone that worked at Dave's
I mean,
Sushi.
one of the like
I've
widespread
definitely
panic roll.
ended up,
menu.
yeah, there's a widespread panic roll there. I definitely ended up a couple times like going out to dinner there, like on a date night or something with my girlfriend, and then by the time we
Your
get done
girlfriend
there, yeah, with Skip, yeah.
You've been together
Yes.
that long.
Oh man, they've been together for like
we've been,
7 years.
7 years, I think. Yeah. But we would like start out with date night, and then like a bunch of our friends are like at work at Dave's Sushi, and like eventually by the time we leave Dave's Sushi, it's like 2 a.m, and the store's been closed, and we're doing sake bombs, and we're like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I gotta go home. So Dave's they're awesome. They're great people.
I called them and it was at the Elm.
Yeah.
And it was like the 30th of December, and everyone was like, Dave's. Gotta go to Dave's to get some food.
Yes.
And I called them. was like, hey, I'm playing at the Elm. I'm wondering, I don't know if you guys are busy or anything like that. But
Yeah, what did you say? You're like, I'm out of town. I'm from out of town.
everyone's ready to come here. I was like, can I come grab a table? And he was like, he like laughs. I hear someone like in the back start laughing, and they're like, sure, come on by. And then he's like, no, we're actually fucking booked.
Yeah, it's like, well, fortunately enough for you, we're fucking booked.
Oh, right. I forgot about the delivery.
Yeah.
Oh, memory, man. That's a great memory.
Yes, I remember because I loved it when you told me that.
Enough for you, right?
Yeah. So shout out to whoever that was.
Yeah, if you're listening.
Yeah, if you're listening.
That was hilarious.
Yes.
I forgot about that delivery.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you ever
confidence.
If you ever want to come to a show,
Yeah.
if you ever want to come to a show, well, with the Kitchen Builders of Dan and Donato, fortunately enough for you, we're fucking sold out.
Oh, well, actually, that guy, remember that guy in Idaho, Thomas, who was talking about Montanans getting defensive sometimes?
Oh yeah,
I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, that is what the statist ideology with Montana, which I'm born and raised in Montana, and I definitely do that sometimes.
Yeah, actually, there's
Born and raised.
I had to notice something the other day driving around in Bozeman. Somebody made a U-turn and kind of cut me off, and I'm driving, and I did notice that it was California plate, and I got on my horn at him hard. But then, so like my question I had to ask myself later, to be real, was like, would I have honked if it was a Montana plate getting in my way, or would I have let him go? I'm not totally sure. But it's, you gotta stay self-aware sometimes, because like I moved there too. It was a while ago, and I moved to Montana from Colorado, and I'm sure I was guilty of a lot of the same crap that I get frustrated with people moving there. But we do seem to have an influx of people moving to Montana because they see us on TV now.
It is kind of weird, and it's
crazy.
Odd.
Yellowstone.
Yes,
Yellowstone. There's a show on. There's
Everyone
another one. There's one
Everyone
called Big
hates
Sky.
Yellowstone. Yeah.
Another pattern of culture that's interesting to trace is everyone locally within Nashville was a little snaky about the show Nashville.
The show Nashville? Oh, I can imagine.
None of it. We haven't even seen Yellowstone, to be honest. I hear it's actually a good show, but I know that they get a lot of issues wrong in the native
Strictly based on
cultures.
principle, I refuse to watch.
I maintain integrity in that.
Yeah.
Well, like our sound guy, Stefan's fiance, I think, like, some of her family comes from the Crow Nation, and she talked about how there's some issues in the show Yellowstone that are pretty offensive.
Oh yeah,
and getting it wrong. Talking weird stuff about maybe like they reference like some guys coming off the reservation and stealing bowls.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that, and they just get a lot of issues.
Like that probably happened a couple times.
Well, things that happen, but you just
There's probably some things that happen, but
it's just I think there's some perpetuation of
not good. Can't do that.
The wrong just kind of ideal when it comes to people.
Yeah,
empathy's
for sure.
a big deal, man. Empathy's the thing.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like I feel like because I'm definitely guilty of like the statist ideology of like because when you grow up somewhere, especially someplace that's like is rural, and you grow up like blue collar and you don't. You're the place that you grew up in, the state in which you grew up in is like it's a very certain way. Like there's a reason that your parents lived there, your grandparents moved there, or whatever it is, so they could have this sort of freedom that like you can go out in the woods and you don't have to encounter anybody if you don't want to, or and you can if you want to go hunt deer or elk or catch fish or whatever, you have the freedom to do.
It's your right as a Montanan. Everyone's entitled to it.
So it's like when you see more people move into that environment, especially people from like more affluent backgrounds, and they come in and they buy their second home in Big Sky or whatever that they only live in for a month out of the year or whatever. Basically, a lot of what you see as someone who grew up there and like lived that reality is you're basically kind of at a certain point, it feels like you're watching your state become a little disenfranchised with all these, people moving there and kind of just getting whatever they want out of your state in whatever capacity they expected it to be.
take.
Like they've moved out there expecting to come to the Wild West, quote unquote, and by God, that's the experience that they're going to have, whether or not it costs,
Is a take mindset.
Yeah, and so it's like
they're not bringing the second homeowners, and it honestly is a big problem where I grew up in Colorado too. Is people do the same thing there, and they buy.
Oh yeah,
they bought up, and they did this in the '90s, and they bought up all these places, and now all these homes up there sit empty, and they just destroy the mountains to build these homes that sit empty. And I will never understand the second homeowner thing because of that. And
so what I was getting at, because I am guilty of that, of being a little fucking snarky when you see enough license plates from other states or whatever in your county and whatnot. Right. I did grow up kind of having that outlook, but now I think because of the fact that we travel all the time and we tour all the time and we meet people from all over the country that you like, and you get to know really well and you care about, and you realize that like this kind of happens everywhere. Yeah. And it's like people are going to be people, and there's, whether anyone likes it or not, there's more and more and more people every day. Every day.
People are moving everywhere. That's
people are moving everywhere, especially since COVID is like people are trying to get out from the city lifestyle.
I mean, look at what in Austin here, for instance. Downtown, there's hundreds of thousands of displaced homeless people because of gentrification in the neighborhoods around this city. Denver is pretty out of control.
Denver's
too.
Denver was wild.
Yeah, Denver is.
Austin
Denver,
is particularly bad.
Austin has been that way for like a decade here. Denver's, it's gotten really bad in the last several years, and then
Nashville's experiencing a wave of that as well.
And I mean anything that will increase, and I mean it's these desired locations. It's kind of romanticized locations to live in. Like we were talking about that last night a little bit about how Colorado, and I moved away because I felt like it's a very romanticized location, and it's beautiful, but there's a whole like I don't know. There's a weight that comes with going home for me. Sometimes it feels kind of uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to explain, and I'm not talking shit on it. It's just like it feels weird sometimes for me because of just how romanticized by the rest of the nation it's become there. And
it's an odd thing.
It is
really
an odd
pumped
thing,
up,
I imagine almost every place has some of that.
I sang it to a fellow last night. He was like this young guitar player, and he was talking about wanting to move to Nashville, and he was raised in Austin. And like, well, why do you want to leave Austin?
Yeah.
He's like, well, it's changed so much. And it's like, it's like you're taking what naturally happens in the process of life, and you're taking it personally. And it's like,
I'm guilty of it so much.
Totally, I do this.
And that's exactly
me too.
why I keep trying to talk about you got to ask yourself what you're really.
And that's where stoicism is like very fascinating, because it's like it's not like everybody doesn't experience that.
Wait, what did you say?
Stoicism.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, right, totally.
Seneca and
yes,
Marcus Aurelius. Like,
yes, right.
It's like to take your suffering. Like you're inevitably going to suffer, and it's like the way you conquer your suffering is the way you.
And it's not ignoring it. It's not pushing.
No,
suffering
you have to
away.
integrate it.
Exactly, it's making you stronger. I think about stuff like that, like, my dad's father just passed away.
So did mine.
And oh wow, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah,
likewise.
But he was incredibly sick, but he didn't really know it until he pretty much died. And so and I think of that, and he continued to work and kept it till the day he died. He was conscious. He kept his affairs in order. Everything was so. He had it all, and I just think about that. Like he had to have been suffering immensely, but it just didn't slow him down. He was 89 years old, and he was still. That's stoicism,
showing up for it.
Tough guy. Exactly.
Yeah,
tough guy.
That's the thing I think about when you mention like that tribalistic tendency of like where you come from with states and stuff.
Totally. Yeah, tribalism for sure.
Yeah, and then like you see people move from other areas that like have different values than you, and like that starts to change your values.
Yes. And I've come to like appreciate that for sure as we like go and meet people from other parts of the country and develop these relationships with people that are completely different. They're similar in the way that maybe the music attracted both of us, and we have some certain fundamental values.
Isn't that a weird thing to say?
Yeah.
It's straight up strange.
But aside from that, they have a completely different background, completely different raising.
Yeah.
you didn't grow up around the same shit that you
They
did at
call them
all.
sprinkles. I call them jimmies.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah, exactly.
different
Yeah,
words
dude.
for
We
the same
have
thing. It's
we
like-
we have this like new contingency of friends from the South that we met. That a lot of them moved to Denver, and we met them because they went to so many of our shows in Denver, and eventually we're like, what's your deal? Why have you been at the last 9 shows? Or so something like that. And now they're like good friends of ours, but they're like, I just love hanging out with them so much because they're everything that they do and say is like completely different from the way that I grew up. Aside from the fact that my mom's family was from Texas, and so it's like kind of the South, but the Texas isn't the same part of the South as Georgia.
Different
Texas is its
sure.
own country down here.
Texas is its own country.
I mean,
yes.
they kind of say it with the flag, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
for
they
sure.
tried.
Yes.
It was its own country
Yes.
for quite a little while.
For quite a while. But
years.
but I really enjoy like hanging out with like those groups of people now that we're like really good friends with, that they're like, it's just like a completely different, like very refreshing experience.
Yeah, with my friend Anthony last night. It's like
That was great talking with him. I really appreciated that.
I love sharing those kinds of experiences because it's like I think it's the thing of like shared values is really the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And it's like the day-to-day micro differences are just interesting.
Totally.
Yeah.
Also mushrooms help with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they help smooth that out for sure.
The bridge, they built a good bridge.
You play a show after eating some mushrooms and go talk to everybody. It's
Uh-huh.
like, this is a weird, beautiful reality to be in.
Yes.
It's a magical thing.
Fully.
That's wonderful. I want to ask you more about the studio because, like, I remember when we were down there in New Year's, we were talking about doing the podcast, and then we went to the studio shortly after. We were driving in your car. We went to go get beer.
Oh yeah.
And the places were shut down. Then we like drove down the main street, and we were like seeing the Lululemon stores pop up. And this is getting weird. Like Bozeman's getting popular, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But then we drove to your studio, which is like very Walden. In its nature. It's like it's an industrial.
I mean, it's a garage.
Yeah, it's
Like
like
a garage with a loading dock.
It's definitely like a
You just rent it?
Yeah, we rent it with our friends in the Dusty Pockets, which is a country band in Bozeman, and
stellar cover of Still Driving. They put out.
Oh yeah, Still Driving. Yeah, yes, they
Awesome.
crushed that. Yes, Paul Cawthon. Yeah, it's awesome. Dave sings the shit out of that.
He's a great singer.
Yeah, he's a great vocalist.
Great singer.
Yes, Dave Walter is a great fucking vocalist.
Yeah.
And we actually came along. They had already owned it pre-COVID, or not owned it, rented it, and but it was like it was like an auto body shop. Or no, it wasn't. It was it was it was a shop for a production company in Bozeman called Jericho. That actually our sound guy Stefan and our light guy Frank work for when we're not on tour. They work for Jericho and they help produce shows around Montana. And previously, that where our studio was like a shop for Jericho where they like kept all their lights and stuff. Where they accessed all their equipment. And when they got rid of it, basically the Pockets boys took over that lease, and I think they just went in there and they built a bunch of that stuff that's in there, all that like sound paneling and the cloud and everything, and then all those shelves, and they really kind of made it into what it is now. I kind of remember when they first got it, when we were touring and we weren't around very much. But then after COVID started and we needed a place to go, we started like hanging out there kind of, and then Griff was like, yeah, what if we just like split this lease, and then we can come in here and we can record all we want, and we can come here and write songs every day. And it was like super productive.
It's been crazy how good it's been for us to have a space like that. Just a creative space before that we were just kind of practicing at my house or someone else's house, and it's hard to dive in. It's like the same as having an office.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can remove from your...
It's a very Japanese thing. It's like
the
energies of a room and the intentions of a space really like create your your fence, if you will.
Yes.
And it's like, you know, everything has a frame. It's like very interesting. Like a TV is a shape.
Yeah.
And then within the shape, which is order, there's always a new beautiful version of chaos that exists within it.
Right.
And
Very
now it's
Bob Ross.
Right now it's Bob Ross, yeah.
And it's like, well, a room is a form.
Yep.
And it's like, well, what we do in rooms subconsciously affects the way we behave in those rooms, and then consciously affects it. So it's like, if it's just for creation, you know, you don't have to worry about it being organized because it's somebody's house. You can take that fucking patch cable, rip it out, throw a new whammy on.
Yeah.
Just get messy and go in. And like that time is more fluid in a creative space. And
Yes.
I love that.
And that's wow. What I really noticed in that studio is that there's not really any windows, so sometimes you just go in there and like, but it's like entering a fucking casino in Vegas, and you like by the time you leave, you're like, oh wow, it's 9 p.m. and I've been here for 12 hours, you know. And it's like, I feel like that's like really helpful for that space, at least for like us getting shit done and like being able to dive in, you know.
Do you go there every day?
I go there a lot of days when we're at home, mostly because same thing as you were saying with that Japanese belief of like the intention of a room. When I was like in college, I couldn't ever do homework at home, like ever.
It's work.
And like by the time I get home, I'm like, fuck this, dude, I'm not doing this shit. Like I'm home, I'm not doing it. And I would have to like get up and go to the library on campus, even though it's like a pain in the ass and you drive out of the way and you're wasting time driving there.
Yeah.
And you're like, wasting time going to the coffee shop on the way there to get coffee instead I could just be sitting in my room drinking coffee out of my own coffee maker. But instead I'm like going to this place with like this intention of like, I'm not leaving here until I get this shit done. So that will make me do it.
Yes.
That will make me do it to a certain degree. And I feel like the studio is like the same way, at least for me.
There?
What's that?
You write songs there?
I don't do a lot of writing there, mainly because at least I don't know if Max does. I think
he does.
Max
I don't at
all. Is there
all.
a process that you guys have like through all this time together? Like,
well,
because you all write songs.
Yeah,
you all write songs.
Torrin sings all my songs pretty much. I don't. Yeah. I'm not a confident vocalist. So I generally, when I write something, Torrin's the first one I send it to. And because he ends up singing most of mine in the first place. And I'll usually send you like the first verse and chorus of something I got an idea from. And kind of don't gauge his excitement on whether or not I
and we're like, we didn't even used to do that really.
No,
like, I think because of COVID is like, we became like a lot more cohesive with a lot of our shit. Which I think we kind of like got over this like hump as a band of like, when you show someone a song that you're working on, it's like, I feel like the natural, at least for a lot of people, the natural like tendency is to like create something and then just hate it. Like to create something and be like, oh, it's fucking stupid. I don't know why it's like that.
Because you're attaching yourself to it.
Yeah. But when COVID like, forced us to be like, all right, we're going to do a lot of stuff. We're going to create a lot of stuff. And we need to like allow your head to get out of the way of your ass, basically, when you're writing this song, And
it's a very Montana way to put it.
Yeah. Well, it's like the George Clinton thing, like free your mind and your ass will follow, basically.
Whoa. That's a new one.
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like it's allowing yourself to get out of your own way when creating it. So like now it's like, now that we did that and like did a lot more cohesive sort of writing and stuff, now we don't really have a problem, or like it's not a big deal to like send the band like a clip of like, hey, this was just in my brain and it's like 30 seconds of a song and I don't even know if it's good or not, but like I just want to hear somebody feedback and I just want to see if this is worth pursuing and sort of be able to like bounce ideas off of each other.
So much trust is involved.
Yeah, and there's a lot more of like, just like I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, and I think oftentimes I'll find that what I don't like about a song, somebody else doesn't really notice. And then you got to look inside and say, what don't you like about it? Is that something that you maybe don't like about your songwriting style, or maybe you don't like about your own personality on an even deeper level? Oh, yeah. But I think that like that's pretty much not liking your own music just comes from those insecurities, and it's hard to get around, and you can get stuck in not knowing what to write about and throw everything away after a couple of lines and be tossing away great stuff, but it's hard to get past your own mind and realize it sometimes.
Tom T. Hall had this idea of like, don't create, but just relate.
Yeah.
And it's like, that it leads into this idea that hit me the other day where it's like, it's like know less, but see more.
Yeah, right.
It's just like, see what's happening. Like Dave Chappelle talked about like, when he was like coming up, he would never have time to like go see a city. Mm-hmm. Now he has like this is a thing, like luxury of time when you're traveling. Like,
yeah, right.
Just to see what's going on.
Yes.
Like, is there a song that's happening here? You know. Is there something that's, you know, it's like knowing what to write about. That's like the fucking biggest thing I face all the time.
I seek it out now. I have to look for it more. I mean, I feel like at a younger point in my life, it was a lot easier just to write about heartbreak all the time. I find now into my 30s that I'm like, well, I'm also not in a heartbreak situation, but that writing those songs is not where I don't feel like it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to write more about things that I experienced, or even not even so much me, but I've been writing more songs about people that I know, basically. It's more about their experiences, and I've got a couple of those. And
we were talking about people songs the other day.
Yeah. Like, story songs about people.
Yeah, our band's real big on story songs, actually, for sure. I think we have like more so than a lot of
there's
bands.
At least two on the upcoming album on Wise River.
Yeah, and there's like, I feel like there's a lot of, it ends up being a lot of historical.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Shit
We've done that a few times, referenced historical events or wrote some songs about that. And, or, you know, like, but definitely had people's stories. Like Joe wrote Mirror Maid about his dad's journey to Alaska on a boat he acquired in Seattle.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the Mirror Maid was named after John Muir, who was an explorer who, what all did he do?
He was a naturalist and he I would say he's like the godfather of the idea of preserving great natural wonders in North America.
My girlfriend just texted me and said, "What are you guys doing? Daniel's band just showed up to where we are."
Synchronicity.
Yeah, where'd they go?
Let's say Joe, tour manager left, driving the butt fuckers, capitalize under the butt, to a bar.
To a bar.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Then let's hit Jester King, which is a brewery he wants to go to.
Oh, I actually saw that on the way here, or one of the drives that I've done the past day or so.
Yeah, you guys are hitting it hard down here.
Yes, I've kind of been all over.
You have the minivan squad.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we'll return them today. Go back to the van life in a week.
Right.
Yeah.
The van life is the right life.
It's nice, and the way we've been in the same 15-passenger van forever, and maybe someday there'll be a bus in the future.
You'll probably get a bus by the end of this year.
Oh, they're expensive.
I feel like, the bandwagon,
nice.
I feel like is the way to go nowadays. Like it's like half bus almost.
I did one.
You did one?
How was the ride?
Did you like it?
I think it really, again, it depends on the community that you're with and how you guys can maintain the intention of the space.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's like there has to be a person who has the approach of order, and then there needs to be an equal amount of chaos. And when you get on either side of the polarity too frequently, it starts to become unnatural.
Totally.
This was like way chaos sided, and it just wasn't maintained. And everyone, so the way the bathrooms worked on there specifically was like, either you're 10 out of 10 maintaining the sewage, or you don't do it on there.
Oh yeah,
And
totally.
Someone like took a shit in there and they took a piss in there and didn't tell anybody.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
That is.
didn't admit to it, and we're like, why does the van smell like shit? Because you're basically in a 16.
It's like a box truck.
You're in a box truck. And so, like, you can't have any, like, dishes or, like, you hit a curb and everything falls out.
Everything
You're waking up at
smashes everywhere. Yeah.
But the ventilation system and all the bunks was, like, too close to the sewage or something. Everyone ended up getting this poisoning because there was mold in the air. It was like, it was fucking terrible. it was just an absolute domain of chaos. Like no one was taking care of like their clothes or drinks or.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
It
it was like Lord of the Flies in there, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, then there was one.
And then there was one.
But you guys have a thing, like you have your community on lock. So like I doubt Joe will let anyone get shit too dirty.
No, well, yeah, I think
it would be. Yeah, I mean, it would be. I would imagine the way we kind of roll.
Like, you don't want to fuck around. Like,
well, we would probably make it more of a space of rest if we could.
Age-wise, we are grown men, for sure. But I feel like we're just a bunch of just man children wandering about the earth.
It's an integration of both. Again, it's that polarity thing. It's like you are born a child, and you ever see a baby. I love babies. I just love seeing babies. We were in Walmart the other day printing off those NFT, which took so long. It was crazy. And there was just baby there the whole time. The baby was so present, just looking at everything, reacting to it, loving it. And it's like, you were born that. And so part of you was alive in that. And like embracing music with that's like very powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, you got to maintain that thing, man, that we have fun. You got to have fun.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Which you definitely do in our band. Like, I feel like
you're always doing new songs. It's real loose. Everyone's watching.
Yes.
Are we hitting it right? Like Texas Sun last night.
Yeah, that was fun.
Just
that was
the
great.
Philosophy, like the intention behind playing that song. Never having played it before, it's like that is what it's about. Because you're on this kind of edge of your seat. Can they hit it? It's just like basketball.
Yeah.
It's just like watching a surfer.
Yes.
Can they do it?
Yes.
And they do it, and then that's like it's a team. It's a
yes.
community. It's like
yeah, I'd say
it's the same thing.
we actually stay pretty on top of. I'd say on any given tour, there's probably a couple new songs, mostly covers every week if we can.
You've done pretty much a new one every night since we've been on tour.
Yeah, and we and a lot of them are ones that we
you?
like.
Who?
Yeah, I write the set lists.
Did it just evolve that way, or was it like, hey, fuckers?
Listen up.
I think
I would come to Jesus talk with the band.
A lot of it comes from us having grown up in the jam band world and like people talking trash on a band for playing the same songs.
And I think,
so we just kind of thought we had to play. Yeah, it's like,
was that just something like you did?
I think it's a lot of it. I generally am coming up with the ideas, but I think it's like we're all kind of such music nerds in the fact that we like our band. The like takes that everyone has from like their own musical background is like
Max was a fish
fucking
head.
askew from a lot of bluegrass, at least bluegrass bands that like I know that like because like everyone, almost all your friends are like love classic country and outlaw country, and they love classic bluegrass and newgrass and rock and roll in some capacity, and obviously the Grateful Dead and
of course
folk music and things like that. And then, but like I feel like our band is like so left field about so much of our shit that like Joe's favorite band, the bass player's favorite band in the bluegrass band is Pretty Lights. And like,
is it really?
Oh yes. I have never been so harassed in my life as walking through a Pretty Lights show with Joe Funk. Literally, it took us 20 minutes to go from the back of the crowd to the front of the crowd because almost every single person in this like arena knew Joe Funk.
He's such a legend.
I know, dude, and I had never seen that part of his life. I had no idea this existed in any capacity.
He's such a legend.
Yeah, and we're like walking through, and everyone's like, Joe, what are you doing here? And I was like, how the fuck do you all know Joe? And they're like, Joe arranged the shuttle for me on the last Pretty Lights. Yeah. He got me to my campsite. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Yeah.
He's such a legend.
Yeah.
He drove the shuttle, I think.
Yeah, he like
probably drove it. He probably drove
organized it. Yeah, knowing the fucking
Joe loves to drive.
Alaskan.
Well, he knows
Joe's Alaskan.
Yes.
He's from Juneau.
Yes, he's Joe exists on a very primal level in many ways, I feel like, because he is from Alaska.
That's amazing.
He gives the all meat diet a try.
Yeah, yes.
The Joe Rogan
all meat diet.
Jeff Rogan's favorite.
Jeff Rogan, dude. Rogan.
There's
I'm gonna start just slipping that into casual conversations.
I looked at you said
I had a
wrong and not giving a fuck.
Yeah,
the all meat thing can sound crazy. I had my actual primary care physician. I was having trouble sleeping last year, and he suggested he was like, "You're a hunter?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Try eating all elk and only elk for 1 month." I didn't do it because it sounded rough. But he said that could like rebuild your gut biome, reset all that stuff. Because when I was having trouble sleeping, I had antibiotic course for a while, and my gut biome was destroyed. And it was one of those circumstances where the treatment was like worse than the issue.
Throws you out of harmony.
It was, yeah, oh man, for almost a year.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
it's a long time.
I had my wisdom teeth removed. I had my top ones removed when I was like 19, and I didn't have bottom ones. They like showed up 5 years ago, and I had to have those taken out, but they were already impacted, and I ended up like getting an infection, went to the hospital. It was a disaster, and I had to be on these antibiotics for like a month, and yeah, I couldn't recover my gut biome from it, and the doctor suggested only eating meat, and specifically elk, but just a lean protein, I think was the idea.
Yeah, with like probiotics too.
Yeah, and he recommended that, and I didn't go for it just because the idea, it seems, I mean, it doesn't sound appetizing, right? To just only eat meat.
I don't know, I kind of like it. I try to do it at home.
I mean, I'm a meat eater, but yeah, it sounds.
I think it would be hard. Joe does it like with ease. I've noticed.
Joe
like
Rogan. I think if you're
Or Joe Funk.
Joe Funk. Yeah, he does it. Like he's done it. He did it on this last fall tour. For
to
like
do it without a lot of money
month and a
seems
half.
really hard.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, if
Yeah,
you're
That's
rich,
that's why it helps
obviously,
to have a freezer full of something.
yeah. But
He did
Meat's
on the
expensive.
road?
yeah, he did it on the road,
God,
which
he's
like
such a
seems
legend,
impossible. Yeah, yeah.
He brought
It's
a
like-
barbecue.
He brought a grill with him.
We
Yeah, I have
meet
this
up
video
with
of him.
farmers in different places that he'd connect with.
I have this video of him grilling outside. He's like on the sidewalk outside
Boston.
In Boston, outside this
Downtown.
big music hall that we played in Boston. And he's like grilling, like sitting on the side. He's sitting on the curb next to the trailer, just grilling this massive steak. It's like gigantic. It barely fits on this mini grill that he got. And like, and I'm videoing him doing this, and he lifts. He like looks at me and he like lifts the grill with like the confidence that like Exhibit lifts the hood of a Lamborghini on Hit My Ride, like just like fucking flexing. And as I'm doing this, another lady walking by sees him doing it and starts videoing Joe.
Yeah, selfie style like this.
Yeah.
She's like, "My man here, he's gonna give me a bite." The steak was a manhole.
She like did it like she like hopped in the video. It was so funny.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
legend,
so
that's
Joe just like maintains this this like
What a philosophy.
Yes.
Admirable, man.
Yes, admirable for sure. I'm jealous, if anything. That's
I mean, I think the theory,
on the
theory
road.
behind
Yeah, it's hard.
the not eating vegetables is that vegetables have defense mechanisms to not be eaten, where fruits don't. So you can eat fruits. Yeah, you can eat fruits. You can eat meat. But it's, you know, like I guess like the idea is this whole going the paleo thing. You know, it was before people were farming, so.
Yeah.
They weren't growing broccoli. They weren't finding broccoli. That's a genetically created organism, you know.
You know, it's only
corn and all that.
It's like it's either 3 minutes or 3 seconds to midnight. Is if you were to have an entire day's worth of time be like parallel with how long either the world or the universe has existed.
Right.
Humans, just in general. It's like 3 minutes or 3 seconds.
Yep. You know what I just saw today is that they think the Earth's core is now cooling faster than we anticipated. I don't know what that means for it, but
it just sounds more scarier than
yeah, they're just
right?
everything I see is like, does it seem like things are about to close up on us?
That's why I love that fucking Brent Cobb song. With this the opening line, they say the world is ending again. When he's just the pause and again after that, I'm like, that is fucking genius.
Yeah.
That is like, everyone says the world is ending. There's like, people have been, you know, predicting the end of the world since the world fucking started. Since people started realizing they were on the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the thing. That's where I feel like subconsciously we can't help but be attracted to it, because on the very like foundational level of our existence, we know that it is mortal and that it's finite ultimately.
Yeah, that it will be a linear existence.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, there's been our species will at one point definitely become extinct.
We know this.
Yes.
100%.
So that's why anything that comes from that is so
I don't know about you guys or if this is just me, but like I feel like a lot of people during the course of COVID, whatever the thing about like the year of the plague brought on in human consciousness, but I feel like a lot of people sort of started to realize their own mortality. Where like before that it was like there's so many distractions in the world that like you don't ever, unless you're sick or going through some sort of problem with your health or whatever, like you don't really necessarily think about the fact that you are going to die like all the time. Like you could die at any moment, any given day, and like, but that's like the natural way of the human brain is to avoid that and push that back at all costs, right? Because there's no way, you can't exist, you can't get anything done with that just anchoring itself in your mind.
No, it has to be integrated.
But like the fact that COVID came about and it's like, and people are dying on a global scale and everyone's sitting in their fucking house and they're just sitting there and they're watching the various screens, whether they're in your hand or on the wall, about the world possibly ending. And I feel like that's like a lot of people like had that like stark realization of like, oh, I could die,
right?
And like never really thought about that before.
Right.
And what does it do? Does it make you afraid or does it make you live better?
Yeah. Does it make you live in better? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you live better out of a motivation of fear?
That's the thing.
Do you like, is there, I think there is a fundamental importance of fear in our existence and our ability to thrive as a species, like
self-preservation.
Yeah. Fear gets a bad rep.
Fear gets a bad rep. We need to incorporate more fear.
That's not what I'm saying. But
Jeff Rogan, if you're listening,
but I think
make me more scared.
It's how it's got to be. That's how our brains have evolved. It's how we've.
That's why.
That's why we knew not to get attacked by the lion.
Exactly. So when people say like they're
stop living in fear, it's like, well, it keeps you safe,
Yeah.
You're wired to be anxious, like.
Oh yeah, we are a predator, but we are also a prey. It's really the only species on Earth.
I was getting coffee this morning, and the person I was with was like, she was like, there's a lot of crows around, and she's like, I hate those crows.
They're interesting to watch. They're very smart.
Right, and then they are.
Yeah.
And like through their like consistency of intelligence and like their presence in our culture, the symbolism that they've provided to us over time is staggering. But then there's also this evolutionary reality where it's like a lot of things in the black night that were probably black snakes and black lions and black birds came and ate the fuck out of us.
Oh yeah,
when we were
for
living
sure.
in trees.
Look at a raven. A raven is a symbol of death.
Like vultures. Sure.
It's absolutely another, like, that's the way I think in Montana there's a lot of people who connect heavily with ravens. Like our friend Matt named his whole album after it, and just, but yeah, they're absolutely a symbol of death. And
even when we're getting coffee, it manifests into, I don't like that. But like the millions of years that went into that statement.
Yeah.
It's just like, that to me is just so
it's like the wolf.
Infinitely remarkable.
Wolves,
the dire wolf, and then it's poetic.
Don't attack people. They hardly ever have attacked people, but they do take our food. And that's why they're demonized initially, and they're still demonized heavily.
Maybe we've arrived at the idea that you should, with fear and living, maybe you just have to sing about it.
Yeah.
Play it and play with it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, it goes back to Stoicism. It's about embracing it and using it to grow. Yeah, integrating.
I had this idea the other day where it was like they in a way of looking at it in like this mindist way is to not say that you're 29.
Yeah.
It'd be like, you're not 29 years old, but you're 29 years lived.
Lived. Oh.
And then there's like...
Oh, there.
Is that what the guys are back?
Oh, yeah.
It's a good way to look at it. About to be 27. It's like 27.
You're about to be 27?
Yeah.
Nice. I thought you were 25 for some reason. I don't know where I got that from, but...
Probably a bio or something.
Yeah, maybe that might have been what it was. Yeah, it might have been an old bio.
It's funny how those never disappear, right?
Weird.
They never go away.
Our current photo on the Northwest String Summit Festival website is from like 8 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it's got Butler in it still.
Oh yeah, we should hit them up about that. Be like, hey, you guys should get a better promo for us.
This was fun. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah,
dude,
man.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having us. Yeah. I'm gonna miss you guys on tour.
Man, me too.
Yeah. Yes, but I heard there's a potential that we might be doing some stuff together in the future. And
Yeah, I heard from agents.
Yes, very much
That'd be
looking
awesome.
forward
Hell
to
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
If we can do that. But yeah, it's been a fucking blast with all you guys.
Yeah.
The past couple weeks. It's
Yeah.
been super fun.
7 shows.
Yes. Yeah. Not counting the New Year's. Not counting the New Year's kickoff.
11 shows.
I feel like
11 shows.
that was great. People, I feel like all of the people we know in Montana are like, they're like, if we fucking see Daniel out and about again, we're definitely going to see him.
I think we're
see
hitting
his
Pine
shows.
Creek.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
This summer?
I think this summer.
You gotta
Gosh,
come
I'm
stay,
hoping-
dude. I live like 10 miles from Pine Creek.
Man, Swain and I were talking about that. I was like,
Yeah.
I'd like to come out to maybe just write some songs and chill.
Dude, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the spot for it. Paradise Valley is like
Yeah.
the entrance to Yellowstone. The Yellowstone River flows
You live
right
in
through there.
Paradise Valley.
Yeah, well, basically, I live in Livingston, but that's like at the end of Paradise Valley, basically.
All right.
And that's where Pine Creek is. Pine Creek's like 10 minutes into Paradise Valley from Livingston. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really
Definitely
awesome.
gotta come.
Yeah.
With any
Pine
luck,
Creek-
we'll have a less smoky summer too. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
That was
Yeah, a
fucking
little
hot
less
last
fire.
year.
Yeah, there were a lot of fires last year.
We're all
It
gonna
was a
die.
dry year.
Oh my god.
It's a dry year.
West
Fire
is
season.
burning up.
It's another lyric.
Uh-huh.
I actually, I wrote on the album we got coming out. I got a song in there. about
Yeah.
that.
Corey Wong album.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
we recorded an album with Corey Wong producing during COVID. That's where a lot of those songs went to that we worked on so much in the studio. Like half of them. And yeah, the new album's called Wise River, and it'll be out on April 29th. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Very stoked.
Are you putting out yourself? You have a label part.
I don't think we have a label. Do we have a label?
I don't think so.
That means we don't.
Yeah.
What time do we go on tonight?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was like, like Drew Emmett. I was hanging out with Leftover Salmon this last summer at Pine Creek, and these people came up and they started asking me questions about, because I just sat in with Salmon, but our band wasn't on tour or anything at the time. I was just hanging out, and then they started asking Drew questions, and then Drew's like, he was like, "Where were you last night?" And I was like, "What?" And Drew's like, he's like, "That's my favorite." He's like, that my favorite question that people ask me is, "Where were you last night when you're on tour?" And you're like, and Drew just goes,
Yeah, right.
I don't know. He's like, there was
Right.
there was music, there was definitely beer, there was drugs being taken late nights, and there were people there asking questions. And I was like, wow. I was like, that is great. I was like, also, I'm never asking you ever again when I see you on tour, where were you guys last night?
What a brilliant,
Yeah.
humbling answer.
Yeah.
People I've realized that touring and playing shows is asking a question. I feel like I'm
Yes.
very much asking something.
Oh yeah, for
Like
sure.
I'm seeking an answer to something. And it's like hard to verbalize the question. So it's like it's just through intention. I feel like everyone who comes to, like, this music is like very specific thing. Like they're
Yeah.
asking a question too about existence and life.
Yes, for sure.
Last night was fucking awesome. Brilliant show.
That was
Yeah.
so much fun.
Cool. I look
Yes.
forward to the album.
Dude, yeah. Same. I'm
Oh.
very excited
Yeah,
about it.
it's good
yeah.
to be getting it out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
yeah.
man.
Thanks for having us.
Simply go out and check out Wise River. It is available on all streaming platforms now. This is one of my favorite bands, and they will soon be one of your favorite bands if they are not already. They will go down as one of the great American bluegrass ensembles of originally composed music, extravagant live shows, and a prolific touring career. They're just phenomenal humans, and I just wish the universe for them. Truly, they are friends until the end of no space and time. Thank you for listening to the Lost Highway podcast. This is the podcast of all things Cosmic Country, brought to you by Osiris Media, because this road needs a place to go. Come out and see Cosmic Country at Bonnaroo, Peach Fest, or one of the 140 shows that we are playing this year. We have new music coming out, new videos coming out all the time. I appreciate you guys just in the most sincere way, truly. Keep this one with you, which is life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. As Ram Dass might say, be here now. As Terrence McKenna might say, let go or be dragged. And as I'm saying, Just stay patient, persistent, and positive, and use the present that is the present moment to keep it cosmic. Love you guys, and I'll see y'all down the road.
Osiris.